Okay, so hello, we are the Gallops, and today we are developing an AI assistant in emergency response. And our AI tool is not targeting generic emergency response, but we're targeting a very specific disease that is the most dangerous disease in the world. And can you guess what disease that is?
Stroke. Heart disease. Yeah. Suicide.
Technically, it's not a disease.
Maybe for the next person, easily.
Yeah, heart attack, stroke, these are not wrong, but they're not 100% correct.
Cardiovascular?
Exactly, because that in the slide. Thank you for pointing that out. Cardiovascular disease are those that, yeah. It's a disease that affects the heart or the blood vessels, so including stroke and heart attack or cardiac arrest. And so this is the flow of my presentation. We talk about the problem and the solution, and followed by the insights about the technology employed and what impact it will bring about and the challenges and our future plans.
Sorry,
yes.
Question just before we proceed. Do you guys have a demo that you could show us?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Can we see the demo and then maybe we could go through the slides?
Do you?
Yeah. We can jump directly to the last slide. So we put it at the last slide.
Okay, so here's our demo. Our target is to enforce the
Do you guys have a real demo?
Yeah.
Like a running code. Like a running code? Because one of the judging criteria is, does the code run?
Okay,
You
so
can run on the server.
yeah,
can
so we need to bring another laptop here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just like,
Yeah, you can play it. It's fine. Just play.
I will
So-
take the laptop
so,
doing you.
So okay, so for the video first, here is the LangGraph server that we deploy to, and I will bring it to the start to explain step by step. So we try to enforce the human interaction between the agent and the human. So when a bystander they see someone got a heart attack or some problem that occurs to that patient, there will be a bunch of questions that ask the bystander. So what's actually the current situation is. So the problem is how do we got the AI the questions? We actually crawl 3 book about the training for the bystander when they see an emergency accident. What should they do? So from that books we use the agent to form the questions for the bystander, and also from those questions the AI agent will consider the visual prompt from the patients, the question that answered by the bystander, and also the medical records from that patient, and the AI agent will make a decision: should we call the ambulance or not, or what should we do in that situation? So basically, that is our idea, for the code base we use LangGraph server integrating with a Redis database to enforce the memory persistent, and by that way we can import everything like medical documents, patient records into the database, which can access quickly because Redis is a cache database, and to enforce the interaction between the user and the AI agents, we use the LangGraph as suggested by the competition, and the LangGraph server will handle everything, including traversing the history of the patients. Did you receive the demo?
yeah.
Okay, so basically that is our system.
Yeah, I'm just curious to understand. So,
if I see an emergency, right? Usually my bias for action is like, hey, I want to call the most, like the ambulance number, whatever, right? That's because I'll escalate it at the highest.
Yeah.
And if, for example, I don't call the ambulance, like the problem is that, like I would prefer calling the ambulance and be wrong rather than not call it and be wrong.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, like, what is the unique capability that is being offered here? So, like, other than when it says call the ambulance, right?
It will be presented during the slide. So if you
Okay, sorry.
Well, actually, just a quick response that our concerns is that like when we call the ambulance, what should we talk? Like, what should we talk? So that's the reason why we try to make an agent that can suggest the bystander
Okay, what to say?
what should say to the doctor in the call.
Other side.
Yeah, basically.
And I would imagine you think of this as like a voice at some point, voice interface, right?
Yeah, right.
And is there any sort of capability of like translating like languages? Because if I'm not like if English is not my native
Sure.
language, or if I'm in Spain, I don't speak
Sure.
Spanish. Is there any capability like that you're thinking about right now?
Yeah, we have put all of that into the future plan feature. Actually, for us, they are minor parts of the technology, so we can handle it. So we just focus on the most important one, that is the human interaction between the AI agent and the bystander, to make sure that the bystander will give not only the correct but also the suitable information to the doctor through a calling.
I can help. Do you want to ask?
Thanks a lot. I just wanted to ask you perhaps, like if you could maybe give us like a little bit more background about yourselves and specifically why, like how did you come up with the idea?
Right.
What was the
Yeah. So this is what I'm doing right now. Thank you for that. Yeah.
You just go back to the story.
So back to the story. Yeah. Yeah, maybe later we can go back to you. So I come from a biomedical science background, so I try to persuade my team to go with this disease because this is the most dangerous disease in the world, and it's a leading cause of death in the last 3 decades. And 1 every 3 deaths in the world comes from cardiovascular disease. So that's why it's a very urgent problem that the world needs to tackle before we move on to other health problems. So, and another problem that is compounding this problem is the fact that some areas have very difficult access to ambulance, and the fact that if you're late in responding to the disease before the ambulance comes, then the rate of death is very high. So these deaths are very preventable if you receive very timely response from people around you. And so why time is very important when it comes to responding to a cardiovascular emergency. That is because when you have a heart attack, like a cardiac arrest, like your heart stop beating, there needs to be someone who do some CPR, or using some defibrillator machine to like bring your heart right back to life before that ambulance can come and rescue you. So that's why it's very important. And every time that you delay that response, then your chances of survival decrease by 10%. So every second counts. So that's why time is very important. What we're trying to do is trying to figure out what is the plan for those around you while they're waiting for the ambulance to come. So that is essentially what is the difference of our AI tool with other tools that is existing in the world. So that is the concept, and yes, I can.
I was just wondering if you thought about like how would you trigger this? Like I'm assuming like it's a voice assistant, and like as soon as it detects the heart attack or something, like it triggers. But is it how does it detect? Like you activate it with voice? Do you have heart monitor that it's connected to? Have you thought about this?
Yeah, so so to answer these questions, what we're trying to do first is not using any sensor. We're trying to use the voice input, like answering, like making questions, and the patient or the bystander will answer that. And also we take pictures. Like for example, if you have a stroke, your your muscles will be paralyzed. So your face will look very particular when you have a stroke. So if you take a picture of your face, then the AI can identify if you are having a stroke, or you're having a heart attack, or you're having a cardiac arrest. And first of all, before you can reach a final decision that you're having a heart attack, you have to identify if the problem is related to heart or not. Because if it's not related to heart, you have to reach out to other resources. So that is our idea.
This app, it's in the patient's phone or bystander's phone?
So maybe we will talk about the workflow of our app so you can have a clear understanding here.
Yes. Sorry. Is it on?
So we turned it down because it was
Okay. Yeah. That's right. Okay. So I can walk you through the workflow here. So probably it'll be better for you to see it. When you interact with the when you interact with Pulse AI, anyway, this is the name that we give to the assistant. So first of all, it will ask you a question in order to check your consciousness. So if you're conscious, then it will say yes. Then you will choose yes, and then it will continue, which I will explain here. But if it is no, obviously, if you are unconscious, you can't put no, right? Yeah. So that's the reason why we put like a timing there, and that will depend on the user's setup. And after like a certain time, it will kind of like acknowledge that you are like experiencing a certain kind of unconsciousness. So in that way, it can like either trigger an alert or call the emergency number, which is like, it could be like personal emergency number, or it could be like the emergency, like the general emergency number, or it could be like both. It all actually like depends on the user setup, because we assume that when the user uses this app, they have like the medical history of like cardiovascular disease. So probably they are aware of this situations. Okay, so and if they are conscious, in order to say that they are conscious, it could be like from the user who is the patient, or it could be from the first responders, or it could be also from the bystanders. Whoever has the app and can get access to the app, of course. So it will ask you whether you are a patient or you are a supporter who is helping the patient there, so that it can like modify the answers. Okay, so after asking that information, it will continue to collect data on the patient's symptoms. So these are the kinds of data that we try to collect. So currently, we are just collecting the answers to the AI questions and the user inputs to the model. But we also plan in the future that you can see here, use preloaded medical profile from the user, and as well as the visual symptom inputs. So the visual symptom inputs could be like, as Glenn has already mentioned, it could be like the image, the picture of the face, or it could be like also a diagram, a human diagram, and you say that, I'm feeling unwell, and it could like ask you in which part of your body that you are feeling unwell. It could be like you could point at your heart, or it could be like point at this part, because I learned from of course yesterday that women have different symptoms from men when it comes to heart attack. It could be like the parts you can feel the you can feel the pain around your arm here, not around the chest. So that is also very important to help determine if there is problems with your heart or not. Okay.
Guys, I think we gotta wrap it up because there's another thing.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.